Welcome back to the Heater Dynasty podcast. We missed you guys. We're sorry for last week. We had some technical difficulties, otherwise known as my hard drive got erased mysteriously. And we have started a formal investigation to determine the culprit of the hard drive erasure and have come up with three main suspects. So we're hoping that as listeners, you guys can help us through this and help us come to the bottom of this. Here's the three suspects we have so far. P. Knower. He is the most recent Player Series interview that we were trying to release before all this horrible situation happened. And the reason he is a suspect is because the interview doesn't necessarily leave him in the best light. We discuss his unethical decision-making when it comes to making his lineup, and think that he might not have wanted that information to get out to you. Luckily, we still have the raw file, so it will be coming out to you later this week. The second person would be GM Newell, because that dude's shady, and he's made some comments in the past that I have too much time on my hands, and we're thinking that he might have thought that this was an opportunity for me to challenge myself and maybe take the podcast in a new and improved direction. He was right. We are having to start over on some things, and do not judge me if the graphics aren't exactly the same, because unlike GM Newell, I don't have as much time as he thinks I have. But all to say, not cool, dude, if it was you. But lastly, our final suspect would be Mark and I's brother Dawson. See, in spoiler alert, the other Player Series that we were just about to release that I had finished editing before it got erased was John Staggers. And John Staggers is a lifelong friend of Mark and Dawson. And let's just say we might have had some unflattering pictures of Dawson as an adolescent. And Dawson could definitely kick our ass now. So I think we would much have rather him done that than erase our hard drive. But either way, all that to say, we are back better than ever, ready to hit the ground running.
I guess to be fair, my entire life, Dawson could kick my ass, which was unfortunate being 2 years older. But yeah, I feel like I should bring that up. That's still more than ever right now.
Yeah,
he can.
Well, he is definitely a monster now, and a monster that's been trained by the government. So we all better watch our backs. And we love you, D, and we think you're awesome, and don't hurt us, okay? Anyway, we're back, better than ever, ready to go, and we are bringing you today for a one-time only special, a brand new segment known as What Did We Miss Last Week? So the biggest thing that comes to mind, week 5 in the NFL, was the return of Alex Smith. That was pretty incredible to see what he overcame to get back on the field. And in all seriousness, if you didn't see that ESPN special on his road to recovery with his compound fracture in his leg and all that nastiness, like just the fact that he was able to get on the field and then could give Aaron Donald a piggyback ride was
the leg seems fine.
Yeah, I think his leg is fine. I think he's a little rusty. He didn't look great, but
do you think him just getting on the field makes him comeback player of the year?
I was just going to ask you the exact same question, and so the answer is if it doesn't, we're going to stick our brother Dawson on Roger Goodell immediately. But no, that was incredible. Unfortunately, it seems like that there is a curse of the Alex Smith that reared its ugly head, though, because in that exact same week, we saw Dak Prescott go down with basically the same injury, with that compound fracture. His ankle, not his shin, but at the same time, dude, that was so nasty and so unfortunate. I mean, naturally, he's a Cowboy, so there was a part of me that was like, but I never cheer for actual injuries. Like I I hope he's good. It sucks that it's in his contract year. I hope the best for him.
He seemed like a good, strong dude too. Like everything.
Yeah, he was solid. Like
he seemed like a good guy.
He was like Emmitt Smith. Like you hate him only because he's on the Cowboys, but there's no other good reason. You can't hate him. You just
Hopefully for him, it's nothing like Alex's because it was nasty. But I feel like the worst was after the injury of all the infections. He had more than 10, if I remember correctly, surgeries. It was watch Project 11.
Yeah. No, you have to watch Project 11. It was, watch it with one eye open because it's gruesome. But we do not wish that on anyone. We hope Dak Prescott a speedy recovery because we want to beat you fair and square next year. Come back healthy. Come back strong.
We want to battle for the worst division with a healthy team.
Yeah, seriously.
Healthy division.
Yeah, we want to beat you because you guys really suck, just like us. But Mark, did you ever see that movie Brian Song? That's what it makes me think of. Do you remember that movie? It's like a classic.
Vaguely, that was a while ago. Okay, I remember kind of.
So there was there's two players on the Chicago Bears. They were both like the number 1 and the number 2 running back in college, and then they end up on the same NFL team. So this guy is constantly like behind this really good running back. The number 1 running back gets injured, and the number 2 guy finally gets his chance, but he actually helps rehabilitate the number 1 guy throughout the movie because he's like, you know what, I don't want it this way. I want to beat you fair and square. So he helps him like recover. And then of course, in spoiler alert, he dies of brain cancer or something horrible.
I think it's leukemia. Now I'm remembering it.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
It's horrible. I think it's based on a true story, or if not.
It is.
Okay. Yeah. It's great movie, horrible movie, but that's what it is. Alex Smith is going to take Dak Prescott, bring him back to recovery. Don't worry, Cowboys fans. You're good to go. So was that it? Is that all that happened last week? We miss anything else?
Well, I think mash this together with the headlines and hearsay this week. A little bit of the 2 highlighted players we've got. Chase Claypool, monster outbreak, 4 touchdowns. You gotta love the Eagles placing their slowest defender on the team on 3rd or 4th down, the game on the line on the guy who's got the hottest hand that has ever been, to just do a seam route, walk in for the touchdown. That was tremendous.
Yeah, definitely seemed like a smart move on their part, for sure.
Yeah. Also, Travis Fulgham, absolutely going from the practice squad recently, been cut by 2 or 3 teams, comes out and becomes a stud on another injury-ridden team, Philadelphia Eagles, who have Hakeem Butler. He was a Washington player for a hot second.
Wow, that was dude. I have so many things I need to edit this week. Do not make me throw in some censors here too.
Okay. So Washington player, then he was cut. They're making him a tight end this week. Picked him up as a receiver, making him a tight end with Ertz and Goddard out. All to say, Fulgham. A lot happened in our league as well around Fulgham.
What are you referring to?
I don't know if you've noticed as well, someone involved. I'm surprised you've already forgotten so quick. But we've got Fulgham, the waiver pickup. And I don't think that really our league was that aware or really trusting that he was a legit player. But then Newell trades a 2nd-round pick for draft capital. And announces, commissioners, please push us through tonight. So, I think he probably could have gotten away without the trade, just putting his whole bid in. I think he would have gotten him, but immediately everyone hawks to this. It gets, I remember, I put it through and I said, I wonder what you're doing, bud. And then Eric, swiping in with the entire waiver budget, other than $3, swiped a player. Actually, I'll let you describe what your outlook on Fulgham was, if that's. I'll kick it to you. Yeah.
So I'm not gonna lie. I had to look in the waiver wire, and I had to look up how to spell his name because I did not know who this guy was. And if Newell hadn't made a comment, I would have been unaware that the Eagles even had a guy like this on his team, or that he had put up those points in that week, because I was wallowing in self-pity. Because at this point, it was 0-3. Now I'm 0-4. And my team was just blowing chunks. And I think that's okay to say. It's just, it's kind of gross, but so was my scoring output for the last couple weeks. So I was wallowing in self-pity, and I see this post by Newell, and I'm like, what is this joker doing now? And I saw the trade, and I was like, this is so weird. And then Mark texts me, and he's like, what do you think's going down? And the answer was, I didn't know. I didn't know. I was like, what did I miss? What's going on? I had to work that day too. That was the issue. I ended up getting called into work because somebody called out, and yeah, it was a mess. I was mad. Everything it was a bad day. So I was like, I don't know what he's talking about. But then we all know Mark made some comment about it, and then I put the pieces together. I figured it out. I looked at my waiver wire. I had 75 fab. Newell had just traded, and he had 70 fab exactly. And I did the quick math. I looked and see who could beat me. Ben Chapman could have beat me. I think Connor. And Connor could beat me. Connor hasn't spent anything on fab. So I took my chances with him, and Ben Chapman is unaware of everything. So I just assumed that I was safe. But then I was like, someone's going to get cute. So I know that Newell's going in at 70. I'm going at 72. So if someone gets cute, go 71. I still beat you. I don't know. I didn't even want him. That's the bad thing. I'm happy now. He's doing great 2 weeks in a row. But no, dude, you screwed the pooch on that one. Like, and maybe that was your whole point. Maybe this is like some reverse psychology. You know something about Fulgham that we don't. Maybe he has leukemia too. Who knows? But all this to say, you made my week so much better. And I appreciate you for this. I was having a really bad week, and you brought me out of the depths of despair. So I thank you. I would like an apology for you totally erasing my hard drive. But I understand the frustration that you are feeling. And I would say I'm sorry, but that would be unethical.
Okay. I don't know if I totally follow the unethical part of that, but
well, it would be lying. It would be lying for me to apologize because I'm not actually sorry.
Now I'm tracking.
Okay, cool.
Also, I love that we all know Mark, Andrew Gordon, immediately says, after this whole chat starts blowing up, you could have just traded me the second round pick after I picked up Fulgham off the waiver wire, and no one would know. What's going on. So that was also a nice little added cherry to the situation.
I mean, and I thought I was being fair. I offered Newell Fulgham in a trade, for one of those first round picks, but he didn't seem to appreciate that. So
it's okay.
There's still time. There's still time.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm still kind of stuck on this whole Newell erasing my hard drive thing, though, and I think I want to stage a formal complaint, if that's okay. Do you think this is the right forum to do that?
Well, we know the chat's not the forum. This is our first kind of conversation on the podcast. Is this the forum?
Yeah, I think it's just, and this point of this formal complaint is to let you guys know that this is the accurate way to stage a formal complaint. So if you have a beef with someone and you have something going on, do not do it in the chat. That's sacred. The chat is sacred. We don't do that. That's inappropriate. That's unethical. That's wrong. If you want to stage a formal complaint, you do it in a video. You can post that in the chat, of course. I mean, because you gotta, get people's access, but it needs to be in a video.
We need to see
the rules.
Right.
You need to see the facial expressions. Yeah. You need to see the veins popping out of someone's head. Cool. When you say to someone, I'm staging a formal complaint. No. Don't ever touch my hard drive again.
Oh.
And that's it. Now we can, it's all set. We can move on. It's all been set. We'll put it in the bylaws. We'll update it. Don't worry.
So, big injury week. Headlines in here today.
Yeah, let's get back on track here. Sorry, it's been 1 week off. We don't know how to do this anymore.
Unfortunately, my Raheem Mostert is very good friends with the IR, and we had a fun week, and he's back on the IR for the high ankle sprain. Hopefully he's back and better than ever. Miles Sanders out this week because they have a short week playing Thursday. Looks like it's just going to be this week, but we'll see. And then
I think it could be
more.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, hopefully not, but yeah, that's another guy who likes the injury.
He does. He's a big fan of the IR.
Yes.
Zachary Ertz, mentioned him earlier, out 3 to 4 weeks. Goddard already on IR, so we've got Hakeem Butler coming in at tight end.
Do you think that Zach Ertz is just actually hurt, or is he embarrassed by how horribly he's been playing?
Hard to say. Another contract year where he's really not proven his worth for.
He wants the money, but I think I would give it to Goddard at this point, but who's also out. So.
Yeah. Week review. Do you want to tackle this one, heavy hitters?
Why not? All right. So we had some huge QB performances this week. I guess not the hugest, but big ones. There was a bunch. We're only going to name 2 of them, but we could have probably put 4 or 5 names on this list. Deshaun Watson staged a coup, got rid of O'Brien with his horrible QB play in the first 4 weeks, only to then turn around and say, hey, buddy, I still know how to play this game. And he scored a whopping 32.9 points in our league and looked incredible. Kyler Murray did his little tiptoe dance to a solid 32.4 points.
Have you seen that video of it's a dog show, but they, instead of the dog, they've put very tiny Shrek running around?
No.
It's tremendous. You have to look it up. And everyone was tweeting this out because it looks like, because it's like 3 inches tall person, like running super quick.
It looks like Kyler Murray.
Okay. It's very funny.
I love it. No, I haven't seen it. Now I know what I'm doing tonight. Thank you. Now that I was so rudely interrupted, though, we will go on to running backs. King Henry himself tore it up. To us 45 points. He had over 200 yards rushing, something like that. 87 touchdowns, I think, is what the total ended up being. It was absolutely insane. Kenyon Drake does know how to play football.
Out of nowhere.
I think my favorite scene from this versus the Cowboys was when the game's over. He just needs to get a first down and fall down to end the game. But what does he do? He tears off for like a 70-yard touchdown just to rub it in their faces.
I did not watch that yet because as the game was out of hand, I went to bed. So
game's completely out of hand. They're running out the clock. He's just supposed to get a first down. He just tears off the field, 70 yards, scores a touchdown.
Talk about unethical.
We're talking about the Cowboys. Anything's ethical. This was totally acceptable, and it was incredible. It was awesome. For that alone, he can be a heavy hitter every week if he wants. Justin Jefferson, holy crap! He he makes them say like Stefan Diggs who, like that's just incredible. Like he has taken off. This is like 3 weeks in a row now at this point. So
yeah,
definitely a solid start at all times. Julio Jones is back. Therefore Matt Ryan is back. Like those two, apparently Matt Ryan doesn't know how to throw the football unless his buddy Julio Jones is on the field. But anyway, they exploded again, much to my chagrin, because I left Matt Ryan on my bench because, I mean, he scored less than 12 points the last 2 weeks in a row, also leading to my demise. So it's a head scratcher, spoiler alert. But at the same time, I mean, can you blame me?
Back and forth, snip, snap.
Yeah.
That offense.
Yeah, it's horrible. Lastly, tight ends, Ferkser scored 31.5 points. And then George Kittle was being George Kittle and scored 30.2 points. So Ferkser.
Both Jared's tight ends.
So did he choose the right one? Doesn't seem to matter. According to this, he was the worst manager. So he did not choose the right one, but it still didn't matter because he crushed this week. So
High score.
Whoop, whoop. He didn't score the high score this week.
Jared? No, he didn't. You're correct. Yes,
he scored it last week, I believe, but not this week. This week was Phil Nowhere, who doesn't seem to understand the concept of tanking at this point, because he got the high score this week and against GM Newell in the Trevor Toilet Bowl. So of all the weeks to pull out that performance, dude, I think you blew it. But
well, thank you for not pulling your entire roster from the starting lineup. And high score of the week. You get some. I'm
proud of you for following the rules, but still mad at you for totally crushing me last week. But it's okay. You want to cover head scratchers here?
Yeah. We got Matt Ryan. For you, as you talked about, right? You have Fitzpatrick moving to the bench after this week. Luckily you still got 3 quarterbacks. You got Herbert there as well.
Honestly, I'm okay with it because it's one less decision to make. It's so frustrating to have like 4 good quarterbacks and have to make the decision every week. Now I'm just going to have to roll with it like the rest of you.
Yeah. Well, whatever's been going on, it hasn't been working for you. That's for sure.
Yeah. I think I need to bench the coach. That's what I need to do. This is the decision maker is the problem, not the players. That's for sure.
That brings us to Swift. Jared's running back on the bench. He may have been the difference to bring him to the high score because he was only 8 points, 10 points behind, 9 points behind Phil Nowhere. Might have done it. Fulgham, for you, second strong week. You got another receiver in your fold. Unfortunately, another decision for you to make. Hopefully you don't mess it up. AJ Green. Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to give you space to rebuttal if you would like.
No, I mean, I just wasn't going to play him the first week. I wanted to make sure it was real. So, and even if I put him in, it wouldn't have mattered. Not this week. So I don't feel too bad about that.
All right. We'll get moving through these guys. We're going pretty slow through these. Tight end, Ferkser again. This is the highlight. He was on Jared's bench one more time. Darren Fells, 24.5. Everyone knew Fells was going to go off this week. I don't know what they were doing. I think that's all be easy. And Gronk, finally, not just a blocking tight end, 22.8 points. I'll kick it back to you for the portable.
All right, so we're just going to speed through this. Big Ben, they had a great game, but at the expense of they did not need him. So he scored a whopping 11.78 points. Then there was Aaron Rodgers, or should we say Errant Rodgers. Man, they started out so hot, and then all of a sudden he threw that pick 6, and then it looked like he just lost his mind. And then he threw another not a pick six, but another pick. And then the Buccaneers went on to score like 38 unanswered points and just destroy them. And the whole time the camera crew is just focusing in on Aaron Rodgers' face, and just like that look of like that smug shake he does of his head is just like, oh my God, I can't believe. Like, he just looks annoyed at the world. And like this time he was actually annoyed at himself. Most of the time he's annoyed at other people. But yeah, it was some good television, that's for sure. Miles Sanders, already talked about him. He also dropped a touchdown. He also got injured. You suck.
Something about, we all know Mark's team. They just can't get that ball in the end zone. Get those 6 points. No. He had DK.
Yeah. Always stopping right there on the one. T.Y. Hilton, if you're still playing him at this point, you should quit playing fantasy football. He's washed. He's done. But he got 2.5 points. McCole Hardman, goosed. Drew Sample, goosed. Mark Andrews was unfortunately at the mercy of Lamar Jackson, who only threw for like 189 yards this week. So, yeah, he's the one that's most likely to get 2 touchdowns in a week, but also the one that's most likely to be completely forgotten. So,
how about the Eagles? Like losing by only 2 points.
Yeah, that was so crazy. You're like, they're not going to do it. Like, they're getting blown out. And then, are they going to come back? Can they? Oh, man. It was almost better that way because there's so many Eagles fans in this stupid league. And you guys need to understand, this season is like a one-time deal for you guys. This is every single season as a Washington football team. So you're welcome. If you need coping strategies, Mark and I can help you, but I'm hoping for many more seasons like this for you guys. However, I know you're going to bounce back and you'll be fine and probably win the Super Bowl next year. So just deal with it.
Strategies are okay to be posted in the chat. That's a chat friendly.
Right, because it's more like group think tank ideas.
Yeah.
Now, formal coping strategies, not acceptable. Informal, right. Absolutely. Yeah, it's got to be impromptu. Like, hey guys, I got some ideas. Like, what should we do to cope? But if you like set a time, stage it, no, that's out the table.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we were able to clarify that even further.
A lot of expectation setting.
Yeah. So speaking of expectations, Mark, I think we need to set a quota on that. Like, I don't think we can mention it one more time in this episode. I think we've made it clear. I think if we do it one more time, it negates from what we're trying to talk about.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Moving on. So we're going to just kind of highlight some of the hot takes. So I know that I thought that Tom Brady would throw more picks than Baker this year. For the first couple of weeks, I was looking pretty promising. Now it looks like Tom Brady kind of figured out Bruce Arians' system. He's only throwing 4 picks. Baker is at 6 picks after throwing two interception games in a row. But I might just luck out because it looks like he's really hurting with that rib injury, and maybe he can maybe sit out for a little while and give Tom Brady a chance to catch up in that department. But more importantly, I kind of wanted to point out someone else's error in this, Mark. I want you to try to defend why you think Will Fuller will not be a wide receiver 2 going forward.
Absolutely. So I did a little bit of digging here. Mm-hmm. And if you compare all receivers by average, so, players on that means for buys, if we average them together, he is the 20th ranked receiver.
Which, if I understood correctly, would be a wide receiver 2, which is exactly what you said he wouldn't be.
Right on the edge, 24.
It's not. It's like right in the middle. It's like 8 out of 12. So not exactly in the middle, but like 2/3.
3/4. Mind fraction. So middle of the middle.
No, 2/3.
And so
12 is divided by 3 equals 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 out of 12 is 2/3. 3/4 would be 9. I just want to make it clear, guys.
Hold on.
Mark is in the world of money and mathematics. This is what...
I need a calculator in front of me.
This is what Cairn University produces. I rest my case.
He will not finish wide receiver 2. And he will not be wide receiver 1. I knew you were about to say that. He will not.
I was going to say, because you are cherry-picking stats right now. You are cherry-picking stats right now. Mark is going through this whole well, if you take out boys and you do the average and then you determine which games are played on a Tuesday and throw that out, that you get to 20. Sure.
I'm sorry if averages seem like complicated mathematics, but...
You're taking a stat based on the average. That's how Mark's come up with the 20th ranking. Mm-hmm. However, if you take just the pure stats through week 6, Will Fuller is the wide receiver 11 on the year. Now, if I'm understanding correctly, wide receiver 11 would be a wide receiver 1. Correct?
I feel like it's a bye.
Anyway, I rest my case.
Cooks, I think we can both agree Cooks is definitely not a wide receiver 2.
Yet he's a wide receiver 28 so far, and he just started picking up these last couple of weeks. So I think there's a lot of season left, and I think there's a lot of room to see Mark be wrong in this case. So luckily, I haven't made any predictions like that.
Speaking of being wrong, yeah, you got one with the Lions receivers. I don't know if you recall this one.
Yes. So what Mark is referring to is I made a boneheaded move and said that Marvin Jones would score more points than Kenny Golladay over the course of the year. And I was looking pretty good for the weeks 1 through 3 when, Kenny Golladay was on the bench because he was injured, not because he was benched. It's a Freudian slip there to benefit my position. But now that he's back on the field, I was wrong. Okay, we're not going to track that one anymore. That one is completely wrong. Marvin Jones looks like he and T.Y. Hilton are racing for the very worst wide receiver in the NFL this year. There's no possible way that I'm right. And if I am, I will eat crow again and say I was right, but I was wrong about being right.
Got it.
But until that happens, I'll just say that I'm wrong.
All right. I think we've done that. We've got three last things. So this one's quick. Beast of the East. We've alluded to it. Phil Nowhere. Congratulations. Going from tanking. This would have been the week that he would not have started any person in his starting lineup, and instead he's the high scorer.
And this is exactly why tanking is silly, boys, okay? You never know what's going to happen. Any given Sunday, anything could happen. You could have the best team in the league and be 2-4. I don't know who I'm referring to. Or you could give up on your season in week 1 or 2, have a fire sale, and actually be in last place. Actually, I will commend his effort. He forced a tanking situation. Also don't know who I'm talking about. Or you could have a team that's really good. You lose your best running back. You freak out. And yet you still end up crushing people. Just see what happens. Follow the advice of Dory. Just keep swimming. It's a long season.
There you go.
You got lots of time. And I hope that time is on my side. We'll see.
We'll see.
All that to say, we got some advice from some people, otherwise known as our brother-in-law, Jared, that when we go through each individual game, it's kind of boring. So we listen to our fans. We listen to our supporters. We hear you. However, we put a lot of effort into this, so you're going to have to sit through it. Okay? We're going to go through each game. No, we're not going to do that. But we do want to keep track of how our predictions are going. So since we missed last week, we'll talk about weeks 5 and 6. Going into week 5, Caleb Seymour, he had 15-9. was his predictions. I was tied with him with 15-9, and Mark was right behind us at 14-10. However,
Eric, how'd you do?
Let's just say I might have been worse at predictions than I was at playing fantasy football for the last couple of weeks. I somehow went 1-11 over these last 2 weeks. So yes, I am definitely pulling up the rear here. And then Seymour ended up going 6-6. It's pretty respectable, 500. And Mark, you went, I believe, 5-7. Okay.
Yeah.
So, doing some quick math here, that puts us at Mark has a score of 19 over 17. I'm at 16 out of over 20. And then Seymour is winning currently at 21-15. So, there's a lot of season left to go, but I am going to have to be much more perfect going forward.
And a lot more no losses to help me out.
Yes, yes. We definitely are hoping for Newell's demise in order to have a chance at catching up with Caleb here. So we weren't going to talk about all the games. We do want to highlight a couple of them. Blue Footy this past week defeated We All Know Mark, so now he is no longer undefeated, and with just a 4-point upset, so that was a really close one.
Which Miles Sanders drops touchdown. If he catches that pass, We All Know Mark wins the game.
A different story. And then obviously we already talked about Pinoer not understanding how tanking works, and he got the week's high score against Newell in the Trevor Toilet Bowl. So congratulations, Newell. At this point in the season, you will be drafting Trevor Lawrence. However, pretty sure you have the entire first round, so it really doesn't matter. You can draft him at any spot that you want. But anyway.
Hopefully the Washington player at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. Trevor Lawrence, the starting quarterback for the Washington football team. And then probably another team 4 years from now. So it's just the way it goes. So power rankings. This one hurts too much, Mark. I think you should take it. I definitely am no longer the top ranked team.
We had some shakeups this week. That was the biggest one. Well, most prominent one, where you dropped 2 spots. So taking the crown myself, and then We All Know Mark moved up a spot as well. So yes, that has been tough for you. I will take this, this segment for your behalf.
Well, I appreciate it, and let me just step in since I'm not good at giving things over to you. But to Mark's credit, when he presented the power rankings to me this week, he hadn't moved my name yet. Like, he left it up there and he just put question mark. No, I appreciate the respect. But no, the first thing I said was, yeah, that's got to change. Like, no one's going to take us seriously if we leave at the top after losing 4 in a row. But luckily, I was able to keep my dignity. I'm still in 3rd place because that's where I fall in points for. So there's still a lot of season left. I think there's definitely some wins in my future, but hopefully starting this week.
Bounce back. The next 3 didn't move. We got John, Albert, Woo Footy. For the one that I thought was really looking at Woo Footy's team, I remember I was calling out his quarterbacks. I'm not sure how low, but he had to be near the bottom. And all of a sudden, Cam Newton, Tannehill, are carrying him to victory. I think he has a 3rd starter, like starting level.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
Rivers.
Yeah, Philip Rivers. I definitely did not have him as low as you did. So you were way more wrong than I was. But also, this season has benefited him tremendously with when we made those rankings, Cam Newton didn't have a home, and Phillip Rivers was he may not have
that was his starter.
Yeah,
that was his number one.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers was the only. He might have been with the Colts at that point, but we weren't sure what that was going to look like. So I would say good for you, buddy. However, I don't know that the QBs can carry him for the whole season. Those Patriots are under 500. They're looking a little shabby, my friend.
Yeah.
But until then, he is in 6th place. Next, we got Seymour, who's had some. He also stayed put, but he had some. He's been facing some injuries. Nick Chubb, Noah Fant. I think 7th place is exactly where we kind of had him beginning of the season anyway. So that's about right. What are you saying? Oh, Jared, you thought about moving him up, but we just don't trust his team.
He's moving. He's another snip, snap person.
Yeah. Great weeks, horrible weeks. Yeah.
He started both Fuller and Cooks this week, which worked out, but I would not trust that combo moving forward. Why I predicted it. But.
However, he did get a nice boost this week since he got Tua in a trade. So that'll be a potential plus. We haven't seen him on the field. However, I mean, Tua so far is 100%. He's 2 for 2 passing for a whopping 9 yards. So that's got to be a pretty decent passer rating. And if that's anything to speak for his future, that's a good sign. So see how that plays out.
This was the other big mover. We got Phil Noah popping up 3 spots. He's had back-to-back strong performances. And when I was looking back, if he had started James Robinson in one of the week 3 or week 4, after he had already kind of established himself as the guy, he's got a 3-3 record. He's got that potential.
He just has to actually put his roster together. Yeah. If his roster's all on the field and he checks it on time, he could, I don't know, be in first place. But anyway, tanky and silly last time. That's it.
Promise.
Connor has been attacked by the injury bug. I'm sorry. It's been a rough year for you so far. So he has no Michael Thomas. He has no Keenan Allen. We're saying there's more too. Who else?
Russell was on bye this week.
Right.
With seeing him and Stafford, those are his boys. Without them, that drops off. He's got Melvin Gordon.
Yeah. Melvin Gordon was out this week and about to go on a suspension.
Yeah.
That's tough. So luckily, I think Connor's making the right decisions. He just, didn't have many decisions to make this week. Ben Chapman, Pino just jumped him. Connor's injuries keep him above.
He's got the potential. Back.
Yeah, Connor's got potential. BC has potential if he would, co-manage with somebody else who would make decisions for him. And then last and surely least, we got GM Newell down at the bottom. And on your notes, Mark, it just says buns.
Buns.
He's just buns.
It wasn't worth really going through it too much. I don't think it's really questioned. He's last.
Hashtag buns. So, on that note, any closing thoughts, or are we on to week 7 here? On to Cincinnati.
On to week 7. Enjoy the week. Good to be back.
It is good to be back. It's great to see all your smiling faces. At least that's how I picture it, that I can see you through the camera. But I'm hoping to put a better performance together. If not, you know what? Maybe I'll take up a new hobby or something, because this is not working.
Thank for Trevor.
Thank you, Trevor. All right, guys. Until next week.